When you or someone you love has cancer, life is throwing so many things at you all at once. These are each vying for your attention and energy and can feel so overwhelming. We've had to learn the hard way how to deal with all these things flying at us, and we wanted to share with you our personal top 3 priorities. So here's our top 3 list. First, faith, then health, then cancer. Let's talk about why we chose these things and why they're in this order. First, let's talk about faith. In Dr. Kelly Turner's book, Radical Remission, she discusses 9 key characteristics of individuals who experience radical remission from their cancer. One of these characteristics she describes as deepening your spiritual connection, as a common marker for those who come through a cancer diagnosis. This isn't a promise of physical healing, but is a help during whatever storm life brings. As Dr. Heyman puts it, not everyone will be cured, but all can be healed. What that means is that there is a healing of the soul that can be found during suffering, even if the suffering continues for a time. This is where the deepening spiritual connection comes in. For Rachel and I, we have built a foundation upon a basic understanding that we fall short in our lives and need help. We are fundamentally broken and unable to fix ourselves. Out of this need for help, we found our faith. As Radical Remission puts it, we found our deepening spiritual connection. We found a belief rooted in our Christian faith that provided help for us in the form of a person, Jesus, who gave of himself to have relationship with us and who encourages and loves and cares for us. Our whole life has been shaped by this relationship and is our first and foremost focus in life. Here's why I'm sharing this. This faith became such an important anchor in the first moments after Rachel's diagnosis, because we understood that our lives were meant for something more than just this temporal life. We found a peace that surpassed even our own understanding. We were sustained by this faith and were comforted when times were dark. As we've come through a number of dark storms now, we can look back and see the God of the Bible's love, mercy, and power in our lives. Psalm 54, verse 4 says this, "Behold, God is my helper. The Lord is the upholder of my life." Practically speaking, we live this out in simple ways. Number 1, by diving deep into a local community of like-minded believers that we can both support and be supported by. Number 2, by learning from the Bible and applying it in our daily life. And then number 3, by praying regularly, focusing on not just the things we would ask for, but also all the things that we are grateful for. This is why we focus first on our faith. Our second focus, after faith, is health. Once we've addressed the first priority of faith, next comes health. We recognize there are 4 primary aspects of health that all need attention in different ways: physical health, mental health, relational health, and emotional health. So let's talk about physical health first. From exercise to sleep to diet, maintaining physical health is so important, even if you don't have cancer. When you do have cancer, your physical condition becomes one of the most important tools you have to support your journey. Often, too much emphasis is put on dealing with cancer, and not enough energy placed on the basics of a healthy life. So here are 3 principles we try to adhere to in our daily life as it relates to physical health. Number 1, exercise regularly. During chemo and after surgeries, this was particularly difficult for Rachel. This does not mean run 10 miles a day or strive to be an Olympic lifter. What it does mean is push yourself to do a little more. Whether that's walking to get your mail or running that 10 miles, that's what you should do. Number 2, eat whole foods. Eat foods you can pronounce and that come from the earth. Begin to view food as a medicine. It's not just about what foods to not eat, but it's about what foods best support your goals. And then number 3, sleep. This is tough for us as we are naturally late night people. But one thing that Rachel had to learn was the value of good sleep and the effect it had on not only her physical health, but mental and emotional health as well. Particularly the amount of sleep that occurred before 10 p.m. was a key factor in feeling healthy and ready to tackle the day. All right, our second area of health is mental health. The fight against cancer is as much mental as it is physical. The battle of the mind is waging all the time, and it's so important to find victory over our thoughts. Like David in the Bible, we must speak truth to ourselves when we are downcast. This might be when the chemo pains are at their worst, reminding ourselves that this too shall pass. Or when we're worried about the upcoming scan and our thoughts dive down the deep hole of worst case scenario. These are the times to call a friend, pray, or read a good book. Third area of health, relational health. One of the most tragic things that cancer does is it robs us of our relationships with others. It consumes the space where we would normally be enjoying time spent together. It distracts us from our children or our spouses. It is critical to reclaim this time for the good of our health. Dig deep into your most important relationships and allow them to support you, process with you, and see you at your worst. Our fourth area of health is emotional health. The roller coaster of emotions is real, painfully real. Like our thought processes, we need to recognize when the emotions we are feeling are destroying instead of building up. At the same time, we cannot bottle the negative emotions for long before we pop. It's important to acknowledge where we are while still working in pursuit of positive and joy-giving emotions. Don't bottle it or wallow in it. We need to find a healthy middle. So that is our second primary focus, health. Finally, our third priority or focus, only after we've spent energy on faith and health, is cancer. Cancer is a relatively new word in our household vocabulary, but it has a tendency to try to consume our attention. It can easily steal our focus, our joy, and our energy if we allow it. But at the same time, it can't be simply ignored. For us, this third priority is where we research, we learn, we pursue treatments, we invest in others with cancer, and we give of our remaining emotional, physical, and mental resources. We spend our time on specific health-focused things like doctor's visits, the sauna, hyperbaric chamber, as well as a regimen of supplements that are all focused on Rachel's hard work to continue her cancer healing journey. The reason this is last is it is so easy to let it overwhelm if we misprioritize it. We cannot let cancer consume us. We need to recognize that it's a part of us, but it does not define who we are and what good we can do in our life. We do need to give cancer the attention it warrants, but no more. So this is why we say, top 3 priorities. Focus first on faith, then on health, and then finally on cancer. If you have any questions about either of these priorities, or if you have something that you fit in amongst there, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, we will talk to you soon.